Hello and welcome to On the Sofa with Sisu. I'm Olajide.
And I'm Louisa.
And we've got our special guest this week, our VIP.
Hi, I'm Sean.
And on today's show, we talk about The Little Mermaid, Beyonce, inclusive leadership, E&I books, garden parties, whoop whoop, Dolly Parton,
Yes.
teaching in a modern day world, and the fight song.
Long hair, I don't care.
Tune in. Hello. Welcome the Sea Society.
Welcome.
I don't know why I always do a little giggle at the beginning.
You get excited, don't you?
I get giddy. How was your week?
It was a fabulous week. I spent 11 hours of my time getting this beautiful adornment on my head, which was really fun. No, it was actually all right, to be fair. I had a couple of 5-10 minute breaks, so it broke it up a little bit. What else? We've been running some lovely workshops around inclusive leadership. Really been enjoying that. It's really nice to see people coming out of their shells, understanding a bit more about themselves and the way that they lead and what their style is and how they can improve. So yeah, I've really been enjoying that. And obviously I love the sun. So I have been sunning it up. I spent a lovely, lovely day with our dear friend, Lauren and Sienna on Monday, just chilling in the garden.
Oh, nice.
Watching the world go by. We had a little rave up in the garden. The four of us, we were just doing our wild dancing, and Sienna kept going out, running into the dining room and coming out with all these ribbons. And at one point, she ran back in there and she had maracas coming out, and she was shaking the maracas around, and she was literally twerking. Obviously, Maisie was getting well involved.
Obviously,
she literally looked like she was dancing on a podium.
Oh, God.
I was like, I can see what job you're going to do when you're older.
Oh, stop it. Bless her.
But yeah, no, so we had a really beaut day. It was lovely. And what else have I done? Yeah, spent some time with my mum, brother. It's always lulls.
It was interesting.
Bants. Absolute bants with that lot. It's been really good. I got Maisie a new bed, had that put up. That's been,
yeah, I saw that on the Instagram.
Yeah, not mine. Yeah, but she hasn't actually slept in it yet, which is hilarious because it's been up now. But no, I haven't let her in the bedroom.
Oh,
I know, because I wanted to make it into a little surprise.
You said last night. You said you wanted it to be a big thing. I mean, bless her. She's probably at her wit's end.
I know. I've decided that actually I need to stop trying to control the placement of things in her bedroom. So I'm actually just going to let her.
She can do it.
Do it with me now.
Yeah.
Not alone. I still need to be there to supervise.
Control.
Yeah. Make sure everything's in the right place. But I'll just guide her, So yeah, it's been a really nice week. Lovely, lovely little week. How about yourself, Olajide? What have you been up to?
My week's been jam-packed as ever. I did a suicide first aid light course or workshop, which is basically a shorter version of a suicide preventative course. So similar to mental health first aid, but for suicide prevention. I did that with Harry Corrin and Corrin & Co. I mean, it's heavy, obviously, but it's interesting because that one of the things around suicide that I struggle with is actually asking the question, are you having suicidal thoughts or are you having suicide ideations? Actually physically saying that to someone that you think potentially is at risk, I find really difficult. And that workshop really gives you the skill and the confidence to be able to ask the question. And in part of I don't know if I'm allowed to give this away, but as part of his workshop, he actually gets us. He plays out a scenario where he is someone who is potentially in harm, and he gets us to ask him in the workshop, and it's like you know it's coming because he says it, but you like have to like kind of like G yourself up for it, and just saying it though. After saying it, I was like, it's actually not that bad. It's actually not that bad just to ask the question and be quite direct and forward with it.
I guess it can feel quite intrusive. That's why it's very personal.
It is very personal, but he gives you some great tools and tips, and it was a fantastic session. And I did feel like I left feeling okay. I could probably handle this situation because I have had to handle it in the past, and I have found it really difficult. So yeah. It was good. That was a good session. I also, everyone, you won't break my soul. You won't break my soul.
Of course.
I went to see it. I saw Beyonce. Beyonce knows Carter. Honestly, she served. Oh my God.
What a dish. What a doll.
Fucking hell. It was a lot. Oh my God. I literally lost my voice. I shaked my booty. I broke my back. Trying to shake my booty and swinging my hair around. But honestly, she created a movement that allowed 60,000 people to congregate in a space where everyone felt comfortable being themselves. You had all sorts of people from all walks of life dressed in however they wanted to dress, in all shapes and sizes, and it was a real rarity to see that many people congregated without any beef or any trouble or any drama. I mean, obviously, I can't see everything, but the general feel and consensus of the space was that everyone felt really safe and really like
happy.
And yeah, there was like, it didn't matter what you were, what age you were. And I've been to every concert Beyonce's done in the UK, and I've never seen that much diversity in one space. Like, there was literally like these 3 older women sitting behind me who were obsessed with me, obviously, and gave me like these rainbow wristbands. But it was nice to see there was the older crowd, there was the younger crowd, there was just all generations. Yeah. And she served us 9 looks in 2 hours.
Lovely.
Yeah, it was amazing.
God bless her tailor.
It was Balmain. It was all Balmain, yeah. She bought Balmain.
Lovely.
So yeah, that was amazing. So my week has been incredible, I would say. Incredible. And today, who be a VIP? Who be a VIP? Hello. So our VIP today is no one other than Mr. Sean Gorman.
Long-time listener, first-time caller. I've been waiting all week to say that.
I can only imagine that you have literally had that in...
His first words.
So Sean is a primary school teacher with 17 years experience. He has worked in Australia and in London for the past 11 years. He has been based in London. He's been an early years lead, teaching in open planned classrooms, a behaviour specialist teacher, working in schools for permanently excluded teachers, as well as students.
The teachers weren't excluded.
As well as consulting schools in effective behavioural management strategies. He's been a Senko and is currently a lead practitioner in his school. He loves nothing more than being in the class with students and teaching, and also Dolly Parton.
Obsessed.
And
literally came with a picture of her today.
And he's also my other half.
Woo! Oh, look, here he is.
They used to hang in my classroom. Thank you. It sounds like a game show introduction. It's really cool. I like it. I feel like I should run towards a prize now.
Supermarket sweet, babes.
Oh, God. Oh, I love it. Thank you so much for coming on the podcast. And thank you for supporting us. You like literally are our top subscriber.
Well, someone has to be.
Yeah.
I do. I literally talk about what you guys do like constantly to anyone who will listen. So.
Oh, we love that. Thank you.
Always been the champion and cheerleader. Thank you. Okay. So,
we don't have nails anymore.
No nails. Icebreaker. Icebreaker.
There you go.
Thank you. Icebreaker. If you were coming out onto stage, what would your entrance theme song be?
I'm gonna steal it from Cher, because when I saw Cher live, her opening song is, because it's probably unpopular, I hate U2, but she sings a cover of I Still Haven't Found What I'm Looking For. But it's not like as in I haven't found it, like she's still searching and her life is not over, so she's still on a journey kind of thing. So either that or Here I Am by Dolly Parton.
Very nice.
I'm actually surprised Dolly wasn't the first on the list.
Same.
Well, you need to mix it up a bit, you know.
Okay. What about you, Lou?
Oh gosh, mine's a bit dark. So when you said coming out on stage, I envisioned myself to be coming out like a boxer. You know, when they come out to fight.
Yeah.
My song would be "Drop the World" by Eminem and Lil Wayne.
How does that go? Drop the world.
I mean, I'm not going to have a clue about any of your choices of songs.
No. It's like, I'ma pick the world up and I'ma drop it on your fucking head.
Oh.
Yeah, it's pretty...
Pretty PG.
pretty yeah. It has explicit content. Oh gosh, we're playing it. Oh my god. It actually gives me chills. If I think if I was actually going to fight somebody in the boxing ring, this would give me some sheer motivation to
to belt them out.
literally.
You could sing belting and belt them in the face, literally.
Yeah.
I mean, I wrote the question. I actually don't have an answer.
That's hilarious.
I think the first thing that comes to mind is "Bigger" by Beyonce. Do you anyone know it? I don't want to sing
You're looking
it.
I'm scared.
I don't want to sing it because I'm going to
You already
butcher
owe her
it.
royalties by the sounds of it from the opening number, so...
We're part of something way bigger,
Yeah.
bigger. No. Yeah, anyway, I'm not going to sing.
I don't think I've ever heard you sing so out of tune.
Thank you. I just said, I knew I don't know the key, so I knew that I wouldn't be able to sing it. Thank you very much.
I
Thank
can't
you.
believe that though. You're always on point with the Beyonce.
The other one that I thought would be quite funny to come out to would be, I'm your private dancer.
Oh,
Dance
yes.
for money.
That's
do
the closing
what
number.
you want me to do.
Yeah. That's jokes.
That would
This is
be
an insight into what our house is like.
I was just about
Well,
to
you
say,
know,
is that
this
how
is
he
what
enters
it's like.
the bedroom?
I still want to do the scene. I want to do the scene where in Schitt's Creek where he is doing the
I told you I'm not going to play the guitar
"You're
for you.
simply the best, dun 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 dun, better than all the rest," and he does that little dance and he's shimmying
Like
around.
this.
Yeah, I watched that the other day in the gym and I was
You watch it every day.
I was cracking up and I was like, I'm gonna have this moment with Sean eventually.
Good luck to that shit.
Anyway, I love that one. That was actually quite a good little icebreaker. I should start saving these because these are fucking really good. Some of these.
What do you mean they are saved? They're
Yeah.
on the spreadsheet. They're in the show guide.
It's been a long day, people. Anyway, word on the street. What's the word on the street? Word on the street. Word on the street.
What's the word on the street?
Word on the street. Word on the street.
Now I feel about singing.
Street. Word on the street.
It's like, why do you sing it and then play it? Well, sometimes, Sean, it doesn't get played.
Shade.
I can hear it in my head, so... It's my favourite section, by the way, because I feel like the man on the street sounds like a really dishy kind of guy.
What do you mean? He is.
He is dishy. He is so
Yes.
dishy. Oh, cheers to the dishy man on the ground.
Chin chin.
Do you want to go first?
Okay. Who is Sean?
No, I'm talking about the word on the street.
Oh, right, yeah, sorry. I completely and utterly zoned out for a moment there. Missed
a
a
long
whole
day.
section of the podcast. I think I just time travelled. My word on the street this week is pretty blah, to be honest, but I kind of liked it. Do you know why? No, wait, I'll say that bit after. Anyway, the article is that Mars bar plastic wrapper is going to be swapped for paper.
This is what you picked.
Do you know what, though? I just feel like, how much easier are they going to be to open now?
Won't
Oh,
they
yeah.
stick if they melt, though?
I thought that. I thought they'd be messy.
Why would they be messy?
Because the Mars bar melts, doesn't it? It's like in the caramel inside, wouldn't it get...
It
Hot?
could melt in the plastic wrapper, though.
True.
It doesn't matter what wrapper it's in. I
But
just
in the
think...
plastic wrapper, you can lick it off.
What?
You've never licked it inside of a plastic wrapper before.
To be fair, I've never actually had a melted Mars bar, although I've had to do that. I do scrape the cheese off of the inside of a McDonald's wrapper for the cheeseburger.
No
Because that is the
way.
best bit, the plastic cheese. God, that is so good. I don't know anyone.
Cost of living crisis.
So
I'm gonna check over Harry Bay.
it's part of a pilot trialing more environmentally friendly materials for Mars Foods chocolate bars. The new packaging will be rolled out at 500 Tesco stores in the UK from Monday. I am going to go to Tesco on Monday and get myself a paper-covered Mars bar. Can't wait. 9 of the 11 Quality Street traditional sweets moved to paper-based packaging. Why only 9?
Yeah, that's so weird. So what, the rest of them will have...
9 out of 11. That's strange, isn't it?
Maybe it's got to do
Didn't
with
read
the
that bit
ingredients.
before. Strange.
So two of the...
Oh, wait, hang on. It says the orange crunch and the green triangle remained in their foil wrappers as these are recyclable already.
Yeah, the green triangle. Oh, my God, I love the green triangle.
So Mars
Okay.
says it's a challenge to find the right paper packaging solution with an adequate level of barrier properties to protect the chocolate. But they have done it and they are trialling it, and kudos to them.
Kudos.
I can't wait to see it.
Kudos to
It
Mars.
makes me think of it's a bit more, I don't know, traditional.
Paper.
What, paper?
Yeah.
I do like that kind of concept. Like, I know it's like a very American TV thing where you go to the grocery store and everything's packed into paper bags.
Yeah, I love
And
that
then
as
the whole
well.
kind of- and I like wrapping presents in like brown wrapping paper and just plain.
I do that every Christmas. I love
I
that.
don't like brown paper bags because they fall apart. Like Primark's paper bags always rip.
No, but
But they
they're
never feel
super
them.
thin. We're talking like the thick ones that you get from, that could literally, you pick them up and they could chop your arm off.
I've never seen those before. Where do
Oh.
you get those from?
Well,
American
from Monday,
grocers.
Tesco.
Yeah.
And you wrap it in
I
chocolate
don't think it'll be
wrapped
that
in it.
thick. I don't think it'll be that thick because it's not costly to be.
It's not going to be thin because they're going to run the risk of
Oh.
stocking Mars bars and having loads of rips and tears.
We'll bring it on to the next
We
episode
need
and
to
we'll
get rid- Oh, we'll do an unwrapping
do
for
an
you.
unwrapping for you. We still need to get our condoms.
Oh, yeah, we do. Yeah. Lacking those.
Yeah. Right, my word on the street was, first of all, I went to go and watch The Little Mermaid, and my kudos is going to go out to Disney and what they did with that film. I do feel like, there's very mixed emotions and feelings about the filmography.
I don't know what you're trying to say.
Is filmography a word?
Filmography is like a list of films that people have made.
Okay, that's not the word.
Cinematography.
Cinematography. People are questioning the cinematography, and
How so?
I've seen a couple of comments on social media about people just saying like they didn't feel like it felt like she was underwater,
Oh.
and I was like, how the fuck do you film that?
Well, wasn't she in water for 12 hours a day?
Yeah,
filming?
but not all of it was filmed underwater. Some of the scenes were filmed, and the ones that were underwater was
CGI,
yeah.
yeah.
And so people are questioning that, and I'm like, why do people always have to be so negative? Anyway,
People love to moan.
people love to moan, but my thing is, I love the film because if I was a child and I saw that film and watched, there's so many different dimensions of diversity. Ariel was, black. You had a family that was, Ariel's family was made of a multicultural family. You had
As
Prince.
was Eric's.
As was Eric's, yeah. They had the Prince Eric who was adopted.
Did she have red hair in it?
He doesn't think it was red, but yeah, it was orangey red.
I don't know. I don't feel like it was red, but he said it was. I mean, I don't know.
I mean, mostly partially colorblind.
Yeah,
It
I
could have
don't
been
know. I
blue.
feel like it was just her normal, because she's got locks, so her hair was just her locks.
Right.
So maybe her hair. I don't know. Watch it. Let me know.
Yeah.
Can't remember.
It is ginger.
Is it?
It's not flaming red. It's like an orangey color.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like a brown. I think it looks more brown in my eyes, but So I think
I think it would have been sad if they got rid of the red hair.
But then she's actually called Red in the film. Do you see? Look.
Yeah, Ursula calls it red at one point.
Yeah, and I was like,
Right,
why is she
yeah.
calling her red? Her hair's not red.
There, yeah.
It's not red. It's brown.
Are you? This is one of the things that people are going to nitpick about, is it not? Though.
But yeah, it is. But it doesn't really matter.
What if her hair's red or not?
No.
I think it does matter.
Why?
Because in the original film, She is red and she's representing all the gingers out there.
But she's also white.
Right.
So, sorry? I just feel like none of it's real.
Right.
None of it's based on anything. They've taken a film and have adapted it. It doesn't mean it has to be exactly the same.
No, it doesn't have to be exactly the same. I'm saying I think it would have been sad to remove the red hair and that representation and that minority of people.
Yeah, I suppose everyone likes to be seen. But there was a lot of representation in the film is what I'm saying. So I liked the fact that it's giving kids, again, that... I mean, even though it's based on something that's completely made up, Little Mermaid is...
It's a fairy tale. It's a
fairy tale.
Christian Andersen tale.
But it's still something... It's nice for kids to fantasize about being seen in a fairy tale and putting themselves in the fairy tale, because I don't think I really got that when I was a child. So kudos to Disney for that. That was my word on the street for this week. And then the other thing that I saw... Actually, I'm not going to go into it because it's the Met Police, and I just fucking hate the Met Police, and I just don't even know if I want to give it the airtime. Yeah, not going to give it the airtime. Moving on.
Maybe we should mention the passing of Tina Turner. That was pretty big news that happened. Or did you do that already?
I feel like we talked about that last week.
Oh, did you?
Yeah, because that happened last week.
I did watch.
Did you?
Yeah.
Really?
I did.
You pay any attention to the fact that Tina Turner died? Yeah, rest in power, Tina. Rest in power. And we need to go and see the Tina Turner show again because I feel like they might adapt it and make it more, I don't know.
Die in the end?
No, but just, I don't know, it might be more impactful. But anyway, we're going to move on to our interview questions, just to get to know our VIP this week.
That's me.
Dive into the wonderful world of Sean Gorman. So, who is Sean Gorman? Who are you?
Well, I guess I am me. I am a primary school teacher who's been. I think I'm a very lucky person because I have been teaching since I haven't left school, basically. That's how I describe myself. I'm someone who went to school, I went to high school, went to university, then went back to primary school. And I haven't left since. So, for nearly 40 years. So, yeah, I'm someone who I'm an educator. I guess sometimes I don't like the word teacher. There was one time that I was, years ago, I had my head teacher, Debbie, who I worked with in Sydney, Debbie Heckenberg, was like a mentor to me.
She just completely used her whole name.
Sorry?
You just used her whole name.
Why? I'm saying she's amazing.
Oh, right.
A mentor,
right,
not...
well.
No, she taught me that as a teacher, we're facilitators of learning. And we're not there to stand at the front and direct the teaching. I'm there to be part of the learning and go with the flow of the lessons and stuff like that. So, yeah, I'm a facilitator of learning.
Love that.
Yeah. And I've been lucky. I've been, like you said in the intro, I've literally I wouldn't say I've done it all, but I've been so lucky to be able to work in so many different situations. Like being a consultant for behaviour specialists meant I got to go to lots of different schools in Ealing, give advice to teachers about what they should and shouldn't do, what was going well or wasn't going well. But then also I had a chance to go and see great practice in schools that I could then take with me and like tell other people about and kind of show and share. Because I think the big part of education is it's not insular. You have to share everything that's available because not everyone knows everything. So yeah.
Absolutely.
And I think that led me into working with children with special needs and special education, and leading on that was a huge eye-opener for me. So yeah, and now I'm happily lead practitioner and leading on science, which I never thought I would do in my life, leading on a subject like science, but it's exciting, it's fun. It's one of the top three: maths, English, science. It is. They're the three like statutory. Well, maybe I'm wrong, but yeah, they're the three you have to teach.
Absolutely, yeah.
And you're now on Twitter.
Subjects.
And you're now on Twitter.
I am. Well, my school where I work is a very big. Well, it's not very. Four of us probably tweet a lot, but I love it. I love being. That's a great way for parents to connect with the school. Because I remember when I used to work at a different school, they used a system called Dojo. It was basically like an internal Facebook page kind of thing. And it was so easy. You literally could, like I had now with Twitter, you take a photo of the kids learning right then and there, and you just upload it straight onto either Dojo or Twitter, and the parents can see their kids learning while they're still learning, basically. And it's so simple, just walking around. Yeah. So I take a photo of the iPad, you shoot up onto your cloud, and you tweet it, and it's there. And I think it's a great opportunity for parents and anyone to see what the kids are doing.
That's wicked.
The only hard thing is you have to try sometimes manipulate it so you're not getting like a kid's name or something, or a messy corner of the desk or whatever.
So do you have to get the parents to like sign that off first that they're...
Yeah, so most schools, when you enroll, I think they've clocked on, it's a kind of opt-out option. So when you sign an enrollment form, one of the boxes you would tick would be, I don't want my child to be photographed or things like that. I'm not saying that's my schools. I'm not 100% sure what the policy is there.
Yeah.
But I have seen, I'm only 6 weeks into my new job, but it's an opt-out policy. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Do you know what? Actually, yeah, I think I've seen it. I've had to do that with Maze. Yeah.
And there are genuine reasons.
Obviously, I'm in. Maisie would hate me if I said opt out of pictures.
Just thinking that, yeah.
I feel like she would want to be on the website of the school.
100% she would.
In all fairness, we had a photographer once in our school, and I was like subtly trying to look like I was doing a really good job. Well, I was doing a good job teaching, but I was pretending, and I didn't make it to the website.
Bummer.
Oh dear.
No. Oh.
But yeah, that's me.
Oh. Okay, so Sean, obviously you have your E&I Books Instagram page.
Yeah.
Can
my
you-
side hustle?
Your side hustle. Your absolutely wonderful piece of sharing, like you just said, like it's so important to share, and you share some really wonderful recommendations through that. But can you talk us through the Instagram page and why you set it up?
So I guess a step before why I set up was I was teaching in a class in West London, Year 3, my class, and was our class. And I was sitting there and we were reading a book, which I'm probably going to slam a few books and choices in this, but
that's okay.
Awful,
We're here for it.
An awful book called Flat Stanley.
Use this when you want to spill.
It's what they call like a classic, but it's an atrocious book. It's awful. And it's about a white boy who a notice board falls on him and he just becomes flat. And that's the premise of the story. And he gets sent in an envelope to America because his parents can't afford the flight, so they put him in an envelope.
Stop it!
His mum puts spending money and sweets in a cigarette packet in his pocket because that's appropriate. And it was written in the 60s, and at the end, no spoiler, he solves a crime in a museum because he can fit in a painting, but he's dressed up as a little Bo Peep and he's embarrassed by wearing girls' clothes. So there's so many
I want to read it.
awful things. I think the mother's called Loopy by the police officer in the book when she's looking for a son. It's horrendous. So I was reading this book to my class, and I gave the disclaimer to them I said, look, I don't like this book. And sometimes we have to read books that we don't like because we can't just read things we like all the time. You need to expose yourself to lots of different things. So I said, I'm going to tell you right now, I don't like this book. And I was saying it as I looked at a class of 28 kids, not one of them was white British. So I'm sitting in this class reading books to these kids that had no representation for them. So it made me think, okay, I'm going to go and kind of buy some books for that class because they were one of my favorite classes. And I wanted them to see books like that. So I started buying books that had representation of them in there. So, kids who are mixed, kids who from different cultures, Afro-Caribbean, there were a lot of Afro-Caribbean kids in the class. And so I just was having it on display for them. So I started collecting, and I think I was telling you guys that I just had this collection of books. And I think we were sitting in the living room one day, and I can't remember, one of you suggested that I kind of share my books. And I just started posting about it, just saying, oh, this is a really good book. You should buy this, and rattled on about why. And it's something I only post it when I'm inspired by something, so I don't actively go looking for books all the time. Well, I do, but I can go and come home without anything. I literally every day.
Literally every day this week you've been going to. I'm going to the library. I'm going to Foyles.
But it's just like about collecting this information and sharing it. And if my theory is, if one person reads the post that I put out there, then it made a difference in someone's lives. And as long as someone reads it, and I know you two will always read it, so I'll keep on doing it. So, yeah.
And do you know what I love about it is the fact that it's not just that you're sharing the book and telling people that it's an amazing book, it's that you actually go into some quite a lot of detail into what the premise of the book is, why it's important, how you can use it to teach what you can use it to teach your kids in terms of like
talking points.
Like if you're a parent and you are looking at expanding your books for your kids, going on that page and looking at it and reading it and even printing it out so you've got the talking points ready to go is such an amazing tool. I mean, I don't have any kids, so I'm kind of biased in a way, but
it's also, if you don't have kids,
amazing.
it's a good place to go if you need to buy a book for a gift. Like if you want to buy a gift for
I haven't
someone.
thought about that. That's a good idea.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think the thing with it is it's E and I books for kids, but what I started with was actually getting books that there's LGBT friendly books. There's books that have people with disabilities. There's, I'm trying to find books that show a range of things and where it's not just the highlight, like being black isn't the star. The main character just happens to be like, or the main character's mum happens to be in a wheelchair. It's never mentioned. She just is because it's representation for those families.
Yeah. So it's not about going back to what we spoke about today. It's not about putting people into boxes and categories. It's just going, this is just every day and it's just the norm. There's no need to put it into a specific box, which I really like. And do you know what I really love about the page? And I know how excited you get when you've had so many authors and illustrators comment on the book and share it and say they like it and stuff. He gets so excited.
I'm like, guess who just shared my post?
I love that though.
But that's good though, because
like you with the gossip gaze.
Yeah. All right. But I think it's nice because it shows that I don't think many people would not enough people talk about, social media is full of absolute nonsense these days, most of the time. And so it's really nice to see a page that's actually about educating and shining a light on something that's really important. And then those authors and illustrators probably don't get that sort of, that coverage on social media. So actually it's probably really nice for them as well. So you're helping so many different people.
But I think also on the flip side is like, it's not coming up on our social media pages, which means it's probably not coming up on our friends. Like these people are quite active online, but it's the algorithms aren't allowing us to see it. So I'm hoping that when someone clicks on it, and it just will expand their kind of world to what else is out there.
Yeah.
I mean, one of my favorite books, they're not always happy ending books either. Like there's one that's, is it No Money? I can't remember what it is. It's basically about a girl and her mum, and they have no money, and the whole premise of the book is them going to the food shelter. But the little girl is oblivious to the fact that they have no money, but the mum makes the day so exciting and fun for her. But it touches on hard subjects. It's like, no, we can't actually go to the shop and get this because we actually have. And you see, she has literally no money in the house, and they're saving for like a day with, and it ends with them going to the food shelter. Like, so there's a lot of books out there.
Wow, thank you for creating this amazing page, and obviously we'll share it with everyone. But one of the things I wanted to ask was, how are parents and guardians involved in the process of, I guess, diversifying books and education in the school? Like, do they get involved at all? Do they make suggestions?
I guess it's like any area of schooling. There is curriculum, and obviously it comes from there's a national curriculum, which is quite broad, and then schools then develop their own curriculums based on that. I don't think parents get a big say in what is presented in the curriculum. They're always invited into, I know especially in my school, they're always welcome and invited into workshops, forums, and things like that, where they're allowed to have a voice and to talk about it. But I think the biggest thing, if you are a parent in a school and you don't feel like there is representation in your curriculum, then you need to go and speak up. Because schools are probably, sometimes they're probably unaware that they don't have representation, and also, or they have it, but it's not the right representation, or it's representing something completely against what they initially wanted to do. So I think the parent forums and having an open dialogue with like the governing body, I think a lot of schools have really strong governing bodies where parents are encouraged to talk to the parent governor or talk to the governing body about, what they want to see in the school. So you have to voice schools don't know, and sometimes they just think if no one said anything, we'll just keep doing what we're doing because everyone seems happy. But if you're not happy, you need to speak up about it.
I actually don't even know who the governing body is at Maisie's school. I don't know who the parent governor is.
I'm actually surprised they're not on the board yet.
I think you'd both be good on a
they
governing
asked,
body.
Didn't they? But
do you
remember when I was like, I'm not going to do it because it just would have. It was weird. It was like you had to do like one meeting a month on.
Yeah, and they're 2 hours long. Minimum.
Yeah, and it was like a really awkward time, and I was like, I just can't really fit that in.
Well, I did it for a while, didn't I? And I didn't really like it at all.
No, you didn't.
But I was a governor for my own school, so it's a bit different then.
I would actually quite love to sit on. I would love to sit on a board. I'd love to sit in a governing body. I'd love to run for Prime Minister.
I thought you were going to for like Prime Minister of the school or something, like student council.
The country, darling, the country. We've got our plans for ruling the country.
Yeah, I'm just here for the ride.
So sure, at the moment, are there any specific strategies or initiatives to ensure that representation and inclusion of different cultures and races and ethnicities in the classroom. Is there any strategies in place to ensure that there is that kind of representation in the classroom materials at the moment? Or is this something that you find like quite difficult to champion?
I think there's no like board, and I could be wrong and I'd be happy to be corrected if I am, but I don't think there's any statutory kind of agency who are monitoring schools like this. There's a really good charity that...
Enter Sisu.
Because one of the big things is I just recently had training in my school. We had a keynote speaker from CLPE, which I'm going to get it wrong. So it stands for the Center for Literacy in Primary Education. And every year they publish a document, which is called... Let me find it. No, I can't. No, I haven't got it. But basically, they do statistics on what books are available and what. Right. So they came in and did a talk for us. So schools can have. Oh
yeah, you were telling me about this. Yeah.
Yeah. So she came in and did it. It was insanely inspiring. One of the best training I've ever had, where she came to talk about how to diversify your classroom and your school. And my school it's a federation school, and we're across 4 schools, and it is. You walk into any of our schools and there are books everywhere, and there are books of representation, and I thought we were doing a really good job and stuff like that. But I think even after this training, people went, I don't think we're doing a good enough job. Well, we need to do the next thing. We need to do even better. So I think that's the thing. You need to get like CLPE, in, or you get someone like you guys to come in and do some work with the school. I think the first step a school has to do is you have to be like, okay, let's just look at what we have. Because there's no point buying lots of books with black kids in it and books with kids in wheelchairs and stuff like that. That's not the point. Yeah. You need to look at what you have and then not get rid of books. You should never get rid of books, but you need to put aside the ones that aren't great. Like things like Charlie and the Chocolate Factory or anything by David Williams. Just turn it to the side, and then you slowly start introducing these books to their kids. But also you need to get the kids to give you opinions, because kids... Yeah. You want kids to read, you need to give them a voice in what they're reading, because there's nothing worse than having a bookshelf like my class had when I had that class in year 3, where they just weren't represented in the bookshelf. So why would you want to read a book? Like, you have to, every day you have to read. That's what you do at school. But like, why would you be excited about reading if there's nothing to read?
They need to be inspired and motivated.
Why would you read Charlotte's Web if you live in West London and you're not a white little girl who has a pig? Like, it's just ridiculous. Like, it's not for them.
Following on from that, I suppose, I'm keen to understand, how do you actually foster discussions around diversity and inclusion in the classroom? Is it something that's a topic that's even covered with the kids at all at that level that you're at?
Yeah. You always talk about inclusion, and you always talk. It's in PSHE lessons, so you'll talk where you're learning about personal, social, health, and economics. So you're talking about what it's like to be nice to people. You're talking about what it's nice to be part of a community. So it is covered, but what'd you say? What was your main question?
The
so I just feel like an interview.
How do you actually? You've answered it basically. You talk about it because it's in the curriculum. So you have discussions with the kids. Do the kids ask questions about it at all?
I don't think they ask enough questions about it. Like, so for example, in a maths lesson, I'll be teaching, like I'm teaching perimeter and area at the moment. And if they don't get something, or they'll go, oh, why don't you just times the length twice to get the answer rather than adding? So they ask those kind of questions, but they don't think they're being encouraged to actually ask those questions for things like, oh, why don't we have any books with people in wheelchairs in our class? Like, they're not. I don't think schools are at that point. A great school, an outstanding classroom will have that opportunity where kids can speak like that, and I hope that will come out. It's like you have to wait for it to arise, though, because like me coming out as being a gay teacher in some classes, like I don't just come out and go, oh yeah, by the way, I'm gay to my class. Like I've come out to them in PSHE lessons where we were talking about. It was like a hot air balloon, and each string was someone who's connected to your basket that keeps you afloat. And I wrote your name down on one of them. They're like, well, who's that? I'm like, well, that's my partner. And then we just moved on from it. Like, so it's like you need to encourage a setting where kids can go, why don't we have this? Can we get this? My head teacher at the moment, he's really good at. He has a comic book club where children, after lunch, can just go to his office and take a graphic novel and swap it for another one without any. Just walk in, take one, go. Like,
wow, I love that.
And it's representation of lots of different kids as well.
Love that.
Yeah.
sounds very cool.
Yeah.
It's cool. Everything's cool where I am. I don't even know what I'm saying. I'm slightly nervous.
You do love your school.
I do. I love my school.
You love teaching and you love kids and you love educating. And I think it's so nice because I don't remember any of my teachers at school being as passionate as you. And I always wish that the experience of those kids having a teacher that's actually fully passionate about what they're doing and so involved makes such a huge difference to that child's life. And going into the next stage of their life, into the next school, and then going into work. Like, I have such a negative relationship with school, and it's really made a huge impact in me in the working environment. So when it comes to learning or training or anything like that, I really struggle because of my negative relationship with education. So I think, what you're doing is incredible.
Well, I had one, when I left my last school, a boy who was in year 6 who I taught in year 4. I mean, I showed you, I was crying. Every time I think about it, I get emotional because he wrote in the card, like, 2 things that got me. He's like, 1, you found a way, I didn't like school, but you found a way of making it fun for me. And then he also wrote at the bottom, it was like, I remember you said in class once, and this is 2 years ago, and he like quoted me in the card. He said, you told me that school is a place where you're meant to come and have fun, and you just happen to learn while you're there. So, and that's what it should be. No.
Yeah, I agree with that. Absolutely.
I want to do school again.
You want Sean to be your teacher?
No, I don't want Sean to be my teacher.
I would not want to be my class.
I get Sean to check my work for me and to correct my grammar and my punctuation.
It's a full-time job.
And it's I mean, it just
Are you checking Cece stuff?
Yeah.
I sent an email this morning. Was it an email? No, I was writing a post on LinkedIn, this morning, and I was like, please, can you check this?
I'm like, why do you have so many commas in this sentence? Like, you need to take a breath, mate.
Literally. Oh, God.
Oh,
but I think the main thing with the one thing I would say, because I have this stat here that I'm very happy to, like, it's not a nice stat, but like the reason you do stuff like this is like CLP that we were talking about before does a survey every year of books and stuff like that. So they did in 2021, the percentage of children in books published in 2021 featuring Black, Asian, or a minority ethnic character was 20%. So 20% of books have those kids. But when you dive deeper into that, most of them, that's just a background character, or that's someone who's the friend. When the next set that they put on their kind of deck that they put out is children's books published featuring a main character from a racially minoritized background, and when you go into it, it's only 9%. So only 9% of books show children who aren't white. You're more likely
as a character rather than just as a background.
Yeah, as a main character. You're more likely, there's a huge thing came in 2018, the diversity in children's books. You are more likely to see an animal as a main character than a child of an ethnic minority, other than white
wild,
as well.
isn't it?
Yeah, you're more likely to see a rabbit in a book than speaking than a child from Afro-Caribbean background.
But then I suppose like you that is kind of one like side of books, isn't it? They're fictional books, and anything can happen in fictional books.
And that's what they say is sorry.
Yeah. So that's what I'm saying. Like I can actually believe that there are more talking animals in their children's books than certain races.
I also think it's like to do with the fact that I don't know. Like I'm a bit in the middle. I'm in the middle as ever on the fence.
In the middle of what?
I'm on the fence. It's like if it's good or bad because I
What
feel
that-
because
there's
good or
more
bad?
animals?
there's more animals because animals anyone can relate to an animal, right?
I can't.
Why not?
You're
Why
not
not
got
a
a
rabbit?
spirit animal, babe.
Everyone
Unless
can,
it's a fox, I guess.
anyone
then I'll
can
relate to it.
anyone can relate to an animal. Like an animal hasn't got it's not a demographic, it's not a characteristic, it's not. Do you know what I mean? An animal's an animal.
No, but remember when I said to you, I was working at a school a couple of years ago, and when I was there, we did the whole school had to do an Anthony Brown book, and is it Anthony Brown? No, it's not Anthony Brown, but where the family are all monkeys and orangutans, and it's not that. That is not a nice representation because I just think there are so many other ways you could have represented it. Like there's a lot of anger. There's a lot of there's a book about it in the park, and there's like all these gorilla people meet. But it's just there are ways to do it, and this I felt uncomfortable reading that book to that same class where there were mostly of like black or ethnic background, different ethnic backgrounds.
And what you're trying to say that the book was
The book,
representing...
it came across as if it was like all like black people. Like it's not a nice picture, and it's like it's not a nice book. And
What's
Anthony,
the book called? That's hideous.
it's again, it's from like the 60s, and this is one thing that CLP said. They said if you want to have these books in your classroom, that's fine. You can get rid of them, have them there, but then by next to it, have a positive representation of something else.
Yeah, that makes sense. Wow.
Balance. Yeah. I wanted to ask you, Sean, because from my perspective, from a personal perspective, like if I pop into Waterstones or anything, I think I find it a lot less of a struggle to find a children's book with representation of different races and ethnicities, etc., than say a child with neurodiversities and a book based off of that, explaining sort of like the challenges and the successes for children who experience that or have those kinds of experiences with neurodiversities. Have you come across any in your time, or is that something that we are lacking in?
I'm trying to find the book on my post study because there is one book that I found. It is lacking. There aren't as many books like that for children. There's one that's about a party. Oh, here it is. Oh, I can't find it. It's basically I have found one where it's about a child. Oh, here it is. I don't like birthday parties. So it's basically a child. It's not mentioned, but it comes across that he has features of he's got autistic features or somewhere on the spectrum, the child, and he just doesn't like big noises, he doesn't like surprises, he doesn't like this and that, and he just goes to a party and hides under the table and shows a lot of, I'm not saying it doesn't ever mention that he is.
Yes.
That way he's got any diagnosis or anything, but I found that just at Watford Library, and that was nice, so that was sitting there, but there's not... You wouldn't know that because when you look at the cover, it's literally a boy like standing in the corner with some balloons in front of him. You have to open the book and you have to read into it what's happening. So I don't think there's great representation of that I've come across.
What is the book called and who is it by?
I Don't Like Birthdays. Oh, my phone keeps locking. I Don't Like Birthdays by Maureen Gaspari.
Okay.
Yeah.
Lovely.
Yeah.
Because I find as well, like, you know, I think in this day and age, there's, on top of all of this kind of diversity, there's also like diversity in your family dynamics.
Yeah.
So, you know, like children who have, who are adopted, or children with single parents or carers, children who come from same-sex couples. There's all sorts of different types of family dynamics. I think that is something that definitely needs to be represented within literature, but as well as I actually feel that is something that early years stages of schooling could actually really get involved with educating other children on the different dynamics. Is that something that you feel happens in school, or do you feel like it's not really the school's responsibility? Or
no, I think especially in early years, because there's a lot of developmental learn through play, so and it's all about exposure early on with early years. So I think if you have all of these things available and they just go and pick it up and then you have a conversation around it, then I think, but I don't, it's been a long time since I taught early years, so it's been about 15 years. So I started down there, and when I started, I was in a Catholic school, so you wouldn't have had books in that school about two gay dads. You probably would now. I think the education system in Australia, especially Catholicism, has come a long way in inclusion. But yeah, I think just you need to have it all exposed out there. I personally think there's probably a lot more to be done because the more you do in early years, then the less you have hard work you have to do later. Absolutely, it's all there, and that's the norm, and that's how they. Yeah, so I think it's all about exposure and stuff. Yeah. But there is a really good book called Strong and Tough, which was written by a kid called Rico Hinston King, and it's his story through picture book about him being adopted by two gay dads and his family he was going through his anxiety of being separated from his sisters or his siblings, and then actually in the end they all got adopted together, and it's a true story. And he loves football, and he plays in a league, a young league. So that's a book that gets everyone, because kids are obsessed with football.
Yeah.
It's got adoption in it. It just happens to tell his story through his football and how he gets anxious to football because he thinks he might get separated from siblings and stuff like that. So it's like that. Like, you don't have to go, oh, he's being adopted. Oh my God, there's gay dads. There's this, there's that. Like, he just happens to have. It never mentions they're gay. There's just two dads in the picture. Yeah.
This is the world that we're desperately trying to live in, is where you don't have to put the labels on everything, and it's just it just happens to be. That's just how it is.
There's my favorite though. Is that one? It's about a girl comes home and she sees there's a new girl at school, and she has two dads, and the girl is like, "Oh my God, you must live the coolest life ever," and she begs and begs to go to the girl's house with the two gay dads, with the dads, sorry, and basically. They're just like her parents. They're just like normal. Like, like, no, you need to go to bed at this time. We don't play games here. And she's like, basically she's like, oh shit, this is just, your life is just like mine. Like, it's like, and you only see their legs. Like, it's one of those like Muppets things where you don't see the adults, but she basically walks out going, well, I guess your life is just like mine. Just because you got two dads doesn't make your life more exciting.
No. Oh, that's good.
That's proper jokes.
Yeah, I like that.
I remember that book.
Because I think kids at that age as well, like, they're so curious, aren't they? So whatever you kind of present to them, they're going to ask questions about it.
Massively.
And for those that are in different kind of dynamics, it's nice, I think, for them to be able to have conversations with their little peers and whatever, and for them not to feel alienated as such. Because I've seen that. I have seen it before.
Yeah.
And I myself, I did not see my dad when I was younger, so there is, those elements of feeling different to other people when you see parents or carers picking up their kids and that, two people together in a relationship, and you don't have that.
No.
It does make you. It can make you feel a little bit like different. Like, So I think it is really cool to have those conversations.
There are so many, and you can pull any conversation out of any picture book, and that's why I think. Even as an adult, you need to be reading picture books, like, because it just opens your eyes to so many other things. Like, I'll read it in year 6. I'll read it in reception. You need to read picture books, like, and the image allows them to like bring the story alive. Because some kids struggle to visualize what they're reading. Like, I find it hard sometimes to visualize what I'm reading. So there's young adult books called the Planet Omar series, which are basically for kids in year 4, 5, and 6. So they're kind of like more novels, but they have still got those illustrations throughout it. It's written in comic book style at times. Like, so you have to keep it. So there has to be a bridge as well between all of these things. But
it's very cool. I like that as well, because actually that's good. That reading picture books will actually just like help you to like enhance your imagination, I think, as well.
Yeah.
And your creative writing.
Creative.
And graphic novels are huge, though.
It sparks that, like, it sparks the imagination and the creativity. And we've started reading. What's that book we're reading, which you haven't picked up in ages? Dapo's book. Yeah, we've started reading his picture book, and it's just joyful.
It's like, he's amazing, Dapo. He curates books pulls in black authors and illustrators, basically.
Very represents. Very magical. Well, thank you, Sean. It's been so nice to try and get to understand a bit more about the E&I books and give some advice to people, our society and parents out there looking to diversify their books. Any last minute tips or last words you want to give to any parents out there?
Just read. Just let them read.
Or carers, yeah.
Just let them read. Like, don't force them to read. Like, if they're reading a street sign on the way to school, that's reading. Like, you go, if you see your kid or a child is like, I don't want to read, but you catch them reading the timetable. It's like, wow, I really loved how you read, like, positive praise any reading when you can see it, and then they'll keep reading.
Yeah.
Keep the love alive.
When Maisie had a little bit of a period where she was struggling to, like, kind of, I want to say get up to the level of the other kids that were reading, which I hate. I hate that, because every child is on their own journey, and they will pick it up when they pick it up. Like, I do find it a little bit annoying when, like myself, I just said, but when parents are like, oh God, like everyone else is on, like, 2 books level higher or whatever. But I used to get her to like just read like the food, like the menu and stuff when we used to go out for dinner. Just like any opportunity you can, or like leaflets when we get to the train station, pick up a leaflet. Like, what does that say? Like, to get them to think that they're actually helping out as well as and learning at the same time. Yeah.
And make use of your local library. Like, you have to make use. If you don't use it, they will close it. Like, that's
bloody
what
hell,
will
I've
happen.
got a library book that's overdue. Just reminded me. Oh my god.
Oh dear.
Yeah, use the library.
Yeah.
I mean, we're lucky where we are in Watford, like in Bushy. I've got like 4 libraries that I can walk to in half an hour.
Yeah.
From me. Like, it's insane. Like, Ealing were closing down a lot of their libraries because people weren't using them. Like, so you need to make use of them, or they'll disappear.
Yeah, it's such a privilege to be able to have that free resource. Like, yeah, please do.
And at the end of the day, I don't think a library, they don't. I mean, I'm probably in trouble for saying that. They don't care if their book doesn't come back. I think a true librarian, true, like my friend Mel is a librarian. Someone who, if they need that book so desperately that they want to keep it, then what harm is it that they kept that book? They must. You need to allow that to happen. It's like kids if they don't bring their reading book home. I don't care. Like if they don't bring it back to school, they need it so much. Let them keep it. Like let them share that book with their family and friends.
Yeah.
Love that. Right, we're going to jump into our quickfire questions. So these are, I mean, you know it. I don't need to explain it. Quickfire questions. First one, you are 100 years old. You have all your faculties. Where in the world would you want to be?
I want to run a record shop, an LP shop. I was in 2 in Soho yesterday when I was out walking. I just want to run a little LP shop. It'll only sell like Dolly Parton records and
You've
Cher
literally
and
got one
Bennett,
round the corner from your house.
Yeah, I go there often as well. I literally go
wanna
down
go in
there
there.
and thumb through by 3. She's like, "Oh, you were quick." I'm like, "I got what I needed. Thank you." Like, I was thinking about it the other day when I knew you had asked. I'm like, "Yeah, I just want to run a little record store."
Do you know
That's
where that would?
lovely.
Do you know where that would be great?
Margate. He's trying to get us to move to Margate.
Oh, really?
It was even on EastEnders the other day. He's like, "See, even there." I'm like, "She's dying in Margate."
Oh my gosh.
We can make it happen, Sean. We can make it happen.
Margate, that's so random.
Oh, God.
Oh, that is so random. So, what is your go-to snack?
Oh, Haribo. Star Mix Haribo. I used to, in my old job, I used to go to the shop every day for a walk, get a bottle of Coke and a bag of Haribo and eat it on the way back. It's awful. Haribo.
But delicious.
What's your superpower?
Teaching. That's
Facilitating.
yeah.
Facilitating learning.
Yeah. I can't. I'm not. Well, I'm great at it. I love my job and I'm great at it. So that's my power. I don't know what else I would do in the world. But
Sell records.
Yeah.
And sing Dolly Parton in a karaoke bar.
I do that at work anyway. So.
What does bravery mean to you?
It means just doing what you want to do and making sure you don't hurt anyone else along the way. I think it's like you have to look at it as like a 360. So you need to do what you think is right for you and what's right for everyone. I think that's being brave, like sticking to your guns and looking out for yourself and everyone around. Because I think a lot of time everyone's like, "Oh, put yourself first and or put other people first." I'm like, why don't we all just look after each other at the same time? Why does one person have to be ahead of the other? Like, let's all just be there together.
I love that. Absolutely love that.
Didn't know I was that deep, did you?
I did not know. What a great answer. What? I don't know why I'm asking this question. What's your favorite restaurant?
I don't know.
Is it not Olajide's kitchen?
Oh yeah, that is literally. Because my birthday's in a couple of weeks, and it's like, "Oh, I'm going to take you to your favorite restaurant." I'm like, now I get is that home? Is that the... So I'm like, I don't have a favorite restaurant. I am the luckiest person in the world to have Olajide cook me food basically every day. I will be in the staff room and someone will be like, "Oh, what's that?" I'm like, "Oh, I don't know. I'm just eating
But
it."
it tastes good.
Someone says, "That plantain?" I'm like, "I think it is." But yeah, that's I always, my thing is he cooks something nice. I make top 5. Top 5. Top 5
Oh,
meals.
God.
Okay, and last but not least, what show would you recommend to binge watch?
You need to watch Schmigadoon. Schmigadoon is like, I've got into it. So it's based on, oh my God, my friend Ali in Canada, she's like my sister, and I watched it. I'm like, have you watched Schmigadoon? It's basically SNL kind of people. It's awfully bad, but they go into a town where they go over the bridge and they're in a 1950s musical and everyone sings and dances around them and they can't get out until they find true love.
What?
And it's like 6 episodes, but I'm glad I watched it. I just watched it like a musical in 2 hours. And then season 2 is called Chicago. So they go into, it's all set in 80s musicals and it's all like dirty and gritty and it's all like Chicago and yeah.
Oh my God, that sounds brilliant.
But
Why?
if you got
What's
four-
with the Shmee bit?
Well, that's the town because the original musical is Brigadoon that it's based on. So Schmig is the beginning of each town, I guess. The Chicago, Schmigadoon.
Oh,
Yeah,
right.
it's cute. It's just an easy watch.
That is so
Very easy.
funny. Schmigadoon.
Or there's always the Golden Girls on Disney Plus, which I saw a guy on the. I'm obsessed with the Golden Girls. I saw a guy. It's the only other podcast I listen to. Enough Wicker. They're a great podcast about Golden Girls. But I saw a guy on the train today watching the Golden Girls on his phone.
No
and
way.
he wasn't laughing. And I thought, are you
okay?
Are you okay? Like, I was quoting in my head. It was the housekeeper episode. I was quoting what was happening.
Stop it!
I'm like, you should laugh now.
Oh, I love that. Oh, God.
You are such a super fan. You are
Honestly.
literally the essence of a super fan.
He's an essence of an 80-year-old woman.
I am.
Dolly
That's
Parton.
okay.
Dolly Parton.
She's 77, thank you. No, she's even younger. Oh, God.
You got her age. You just got
She's
her age.
she was born in 46.
You just got her age wrong.
Look at how upset he is.
You let yourself down there. Oh, God. Right, let's get into our Mannies of the Week. What's everyone manifesting this week coming up? I'll start. I am manifesting fashion. Okay?
Oh.
I'm really struggling to pull looks for our upcoming trip to Mykonos.
Oh gosh,
And
yeah.
I'm currently deciding on whether or not I'm going slutty.
I love that I have to sit here and listen to this. I'm not going on this holiday, but go on. So yeah, go that way.
Slutty and sauce, what's it?
Saucy.
Saucy. Or more,
Mormon. You should
Demure.
go Mormon.
demure and, elegant.
Tell everyone how much money you had in your basket for ASOS the other day.
Everyone knows, okay? People that know.
He wasn't
know.
going to buy it, but there was a lot of
The people that
stuff
know,
there. I'm
know.
like, what
I
if you
have-
hit it by accident?
I have £450 worth of stuff in my basket right now because I'm struggling to pull looks together. Like, I am struggling to clothe myself these days. Like, I literally don't feel like I look at my wardrobe and I'm uninspired, and that's not like me. I'm normally like, right, done. Now I'm literally like pulling stuff out going, what were you thinking?
Well, you need to have a clear out. Why are you putting that back in your wardrobe?
Because I will like it eventually. I know I'll come back to it.
He's a hoarder.
It's a moment I'm feeling right now that's not me.
Have you two got a loft?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Get that shit in some airtight bags and chuck it in the
We
loft.
haven't got a Hoover to airtight it.
We have a Hoover, but not the one that sucks the air out.
Yeah, we've got,
you
like-
can use mine.
Anyway, I'm manifesting fashion and some style and some fucking give me some inspiration, someone. I need to I might get a stylist.
Where
Where am
Where
I getting the money
from?
from? Beyonce, send
I'm
your
your
crew.
stylist.
Send your crew, Beyonce. Well, send me some fucking looks, love. Do you know what I mean? Send me some looks.
Meanwhile, his wardrobe is huge and full of clothes.
I'm very privileged. I have got a huge wardrobe, and I know I don't need to purchase anymore. And consumerism is ridiculous at the moment around the world. So I am fully aware
Eat a
of
Mars bar.
I'm fully aware of my flaws. Thank you very much. Anyway, moving on. Mannies of the week. What are you manifesting, Sean?
I'm manifesting for the next end of this week to just relax and chill because I had my week off. So
It's Friday.
Tomorrow's Friday, and I'm going out for a boozy lunch tomorrow. So with Janice and Teresa.
Of course you are.
I'm actually
You're lucky
surprised.
I came today because I had lunch with my friend Stephanie, and every time I go out for lunch, it's like I was there at 4 and then get home till 10. And I'm like, how did this happen? So you're lucky.
I'm really surprised that you arrived sober.
Well, I had 2 beers. Relaxing, chill, so I can have a clear mind when I go back on Monday. That's my manifestation. So can you help with that, please?
You relax, babes. I'm out tomorrow night anyway, so you do you.
Are you not going to?
I'm going to, well, I don't know if I'm going
Save this conversation for home. No one needs to hear all of this chitter chatter.
What time's dinner?
Top 5.
What are you manifesting?
My manifestation this week is going to be that I get to attend Burna Boy's concert on Saturday. And my ticket's not moody.
No, you're going to be there, babes. You're going to be there. You're going to be there.
I am. And also, I'm going to just manifest some more good weather because I've been fucking loving the sun.
Yeah.
I'm here for it.
Yeah.
He's not.
Praise
No,
the
I'm
sun.
here for this. I'm here for the temperatures at 17 to 20 is good for me. Anything above 20 is too much.
He had the heating on yesterday.
It hasn't been above 20 yet. It's only reaching it's going to be 20 this weekend.
When I was in Bristol a couple of weeks ago, it was 21 degrees.
Oh, it hasn't been
It
20
was
here.
beautiful. It was nice. 'cause
Oh
it
no,
was
last weekend. Sorry, yeah, you're right.
Yeah. But yeah, good weather, relaxing, fashion.
Partying.
Let's do this. Well, thank you so much, Sean, for joining us today.
Yes,
and
thank you, Sean.
Thank you, C Society, for tuning in yet again. I don't know why I went American. And
It's like you got a cigar in your hand.
no, I'm gonna gong us out. I'm gonna gong us out.
Okay,
Right.
I'm here for it.
Okay.
Let's go.
We haven't done a gong in a while.
I'm aware of that.
Oh no! Wait, hold on. Am I doing
You've
the right?
used the wrong
I'm using the wrong side. Bloody hell!
This is meant to be
hell.
calming.
Honestly, I was like,
Right, do it again. Take
All
a
right,
deep breath.
okay.
Deep breath, everyone. Deep breath.
Here we
Right,
go.
Here we go. Wasn't my best, okay? Wasn't my best, but stay brave, stay curious.
and stay honest.